to make sure that we were being flexible. So your CNA that you have already submitted is good for up to 3 years. However, if there are any changes that need to be made, or any revisions that need to be made within your SIP, that CNA must align with that SIP. So again, each year we're required to submit our SIPs for region. So any changes or revisions you make to your SIP, please make sure your CNA is updated as well. For next year, when you're thinking about your Title I budget, again, this CNA documentation is a support that helps you align the funding that you will spend within your Title I budget. Any updates, again, any updates that you do make to your SIP, or any updates that you made based on, just information that you gather from this year, please make sure your CNA reflects that. Your 19 to 22 CNA, we need to make sure that we change those dates to reflect a 3-year CNA. Any revisions made to SIP action strategies must match your CNA. And then if you need to access your CNA, you can find it in 2 places. You can find it in your Title I Federal Monitoring folder, or you can locate your CNA through your region folder. What questions have I created about the CNA might we have at this moment? Hi, Leona. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, I wonder maybe we can give an example of when somebody might want to update it, right? So I'm thinking about, like, perhaps I've learned as a principal during this time that I really want to think about my SIP. I want to start adding in some increased things in caring culture around family engagement. But perhaps my CNA in caring culture was really focused on students working together. Maybe there was a lot around responsive classroom and discipline because that was a need. But COVID has really shown me that I want my SIP to have more around family engagement. So if I update my SIP for next year, which you probably aren't doing yet, but you probably are beginning once your kids get back in the building, and you end up adding some either a goal or some strategies to address family engagement, then you might want to go back into your CNA at that point and say, where's the intersection of some of your root cause related to family engagement? That's where we mean where you might have to update your CNA to match if you've changed. Another example could be, on the academic piece, perhaps you were really talking about, math content as something you wanted your teachers to learn. Some of you, when you did your CNA and you were doing root cause analysis, you were talking a lot around, do the teachers understand content and pedagogy to the depth you need? And what you're realizing is that during this time, what you're noticing is perhaps maybe some of your L's were struggling, and you're realizing maybe it's language acquisition. So then you might, in that case, if you were to create a new SIP goal that's more around language acquisition growth for L's, especially all that's happened during COVID, you would want to go back in your CNA and see where can you reflect that to match. So I'm just trying to give some concrete examples of how that might look. Now, it could be that you're like, I'm not touching my SIP. Everything on my SIP we need to do and then some, because we weren't really able, in your own opinion, to go deep on those things this year, and I'm going to keep my SIP exactly the same, and my region has okayed that, then your CNA matches because we've already gone through that process. So I was just trying to give some examples. Yvonne, do you think that I captured that well around how they match?
Absolutely. You articulated that beautifully, Leona. And the only other clarification that I want to make is the reason that we are asking you to change the dates on your CNA is because that is flexibility within ESSA, that when a school is not identified for improvement, that their CNA is good for 3 years. So Leona, you did a great job of providing recommendations in the event that they want to make changes, even though it's not required. So thank you.
And I also noticed, thank you, Yvonne, for explaining why we're able to have the 3-year extension, because our schools are amazing and our principals are amazing. None of us are in warning. Woo woo. I also noticed that we've got quite a few first-year folks on here, or folks who inherited a school CNA. So you may even be wondering, like, I don't even know how these things connect. the team is willing to sit down with you one-on-one and go through how did your school come up with your CNA? How do you connect that to your SIP? What the heck is a CNA? And for any of our principals that were in the process last year, I mean, I hope you would agree, we heard a lot of people found great value in the conversation of going through the root cause analysis structure and really how you can apply that to any scenario in your building. You know, all of us, we get so busy, caught up, especially right now in the managerial task, that we forget to pause and get reflective around what's the root cause of why this exists. So that was the power of the CNA. But if you are new to your building, or you know, you inherited a school and the CNA was done before you got there, please reach out to the folks on this team to walk you through that.
And I'm also wondering, let me share my camera really quickly. I'm also wondering, maybe for the purposes of those who are new to Title I, maybe we should just do a round of introductions so people will know who's who, and if that would be helpful. And because I said it, I'll start it. My name is Lisa Felder, and I'm one of the educational specialists in Title I. And I see some principals here and some familiar faces. But for those who don't know me, I am Lisa Felder, and I'm happy to serve and work with you all. Thank you.
Good idea, Lisa. Let's do Gina next. Gina, are you able to pop on? Say hello.
Yes, I'm sorry. My camera is still trying to load, but yes. Hi, everyone. We're working backwards today. We do introductions last in the middle of the presentation, doing something different. My name is Gina Toller. I am Lisa and Courtney's counterpart. I am a Title I educational specialist. And again, we want to just thank everyone for your time today. I know everyone is really, really busy, and thank you. And if you need any support, please feel free to reach out.
Thank you, Gina. Courtney?
Hi, everyone. I'm the newest member of the Title I team. I'm Courtney White. I also work with Gina and Lisa and Yvonne and the entire Title I office. I did do the school supply kit, so you might have seen my name with that before. Also, please, like they said, feel free to reach out to any one of your IPOCs, that's Gina, Lisa, or I, with any help you may need in the CNA or your budget books or anything that we can do to help you out. Please feel free to reach out.
Thank you, Courtney. Yvonne?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Yvonne Denome, and I'm the Title I manager. I am also the CARES Act manager, so I'm sure you're seeing my name on a lot of the CARES Act information. I'm also, I continue to support with the Title I staffing and the parent notifications. So Courtney has assumed a lot of my schools for instructional purposes, but I am still here to support your efforts. So thank you, everyone, for joining us today.
Thank you, Yvonne. Martha, can you share a little bit about your role and how they might hear from you, especially around highly qualified IAs and things? Martha, are you on? I thought I saw you on.
Okay, I'm here. Hello, how are you? My name is Martha Pardo Gibson. I am Business Operation Assistant at Title I. Help to support the group in general and AAs if I could, and do help with Yvonne in the Title I instructional assistance assessments. Thank you.
Thank you, Martha. We have some of our finance team on, and I know often you guys are working with them as well. So Tanya, did you want to pop in and say good morning? Hello?
Hey everybody, this is Tanya Charles, your Title I Grants Manager. I just handle the money, no big deal.
We're getting rid of just from our vocabulary. That's our money manager right there, y'all. Thank you, Tanya. And we also, I believe I see Deepak on the call. Deepak, did you want to say hello? He's one of our FPOCs, one of our financial point of contact. Some of you may be assigned to work with Deepak.
Sure. Yes, Leona, thank you kindly. Hello, everybody. My name is Deepak Arora. I also go with nickname David. I would be coordinating in absence of Paul for next couple of weeks, his schools as well. So feel free to reach out. And thank you for joining today.
Thank you, Deepak. Yeah, that was a question in the box. If you have an interim principal or there's changes going on, we definitely want to help out. And our FPOC is changing jobs, so if you need any help, I would say for right now, go to Tanya and Deepak, and we'll get you situated with support, as we also have some transitioning in our office as well. So thank you for asking that question, Christine. And Gay, are you on the call? I think that's the last person from, oh, Ivy is still here. Can we get, well, let's do Ivy first and Gabe. Ivy, many of you have had the privilege of working with her for years in Title I, and Ivy has recently been promoted. So we just want to have Ivy say hello, and also maybe a farewell to Ivy, but Ivy is amazing.
Thank you, Leona. Yes, I just got on. Thank you, guys. I'll miss you too. Ivy. I'll miss everybody. Yes.
Thank you, Ivy. And you know, as we work on some of the transition in our finance team, we'll make sure to reach out so you know who your point of contact is. And then finally, Gay, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Gay Johnson Huffman. I serve as Leona Smith Vance admin assistant, and I'm working in any area that she deems appropriate at the time in her department. If you're unable to reach her and you need her at any time, please feel free to contact me. Again, my name is Gay. Hi.
Thank you, Gay. And finally, everyone, I think that's everyone. I hope I didn't miss anyone. Please stop me if I did. Happy to see everyone. I'm Leona Smith Vance. I'm the Director of Equity and Family Engagement, and I get the honor of supporting Title I and serving as one of the teams I lead. So now that you've done introductions, maybe we can get back to some of our pre-populated questions, team, and maybe go on to the monitors question, which really is IAs, but I know people are getting it really confused. Monitors are HR, IAs are Title I. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yes, and Leona, I think you hit it in a nutshell. Basically, it's just knowing the difference between the classroom monitors and the instructional assistants, and that the instructional assistants is through Title I, and we were funding three of them, and then the ADA classroom monitors are through HR. And that the Title I IAs have a little bit more flexibility in their roles and responsibilities, whereas the ADA classroom monitors will support within like special ed classrooms and things of that sort. So to capture that in a nutshell. And team, if I forgot to include anything, please feel free to share that at this time.
I would like to, hi team, just a quick thing. Lisa made a really good point to make sure that we're differentiating between the two, because the documents that you fill out with your HR 11s, for your Title I IAs, there is a code in your HR 11 that you have to make sure you identify, which is the pay band 4, which looks different from the ADA monitors. Courtney?
And, can I just add one other thing about it? Just like with your monitors, remember how when you guys got your monitors from HR, they gave you a number, 2.5. The number was just so they know how much money they're spending. It was totally up to you how you parceled out that 2.5. You could have done 2 full-time and 1 half-time, or you could have done 5 half-times. The same thing applies with what we gave you. We gave you the equivalency of 3 IAs, but you can use it however you see there's needs and gaps in your building that have to be fulfilled. So you can do 2 full-time and 2 half-time. It's all about the paperwork at the end. So that's one of the biggest differences, is just remember ours are IAs, theirs are monitors, and the 3 just means that's how much money we gave you, if that makes sense. You can use them concurrently, Wiata. Originally, the very, very first time I emailed, when this was all new to us, I said, use the monitors first, then Title I. Then we got more clarification and double check with VDOE, so you can be doing them concurrently. So fill those positions now. If you've got a vacancy and you know that you can fill these IA positions, and remember, these are hourly. That's another big difference I don't think we've clarified. These are not contractual folks. So we gave you the equivalency of 3 hourly IAs. So And in a way that's supportive, because then you can decide how many hours you want for that person, 2 hours, 20 hours. The other thing it gives you flexibility on, which is on that chart, which is good, is that when they're hourly IAs, we are not bound to the same rules of highly qualified. So is that correct, Yvonne? I want to make sure.
Yes, absolutely. And that was the reason we went with hourly, Leona, instead of benefited.
Right, because if they're otherwise, so it doesn't have to be someone that has the degree like you normally hire out of your, when you hire and they have to meet all those qualifications that sometimes Yvonne and HR sends you those nice emails monthly who's not highly qualified. These are like, this is where like Title I is its best. Title I is the sprinkling on the ice cream sundae. Y'all, these are your sprinkles. Use them. Eat up. You cannot combine and pay higher. We are managing it centrally, Ellen, so you have to use it the way we've given it. Sorry about that.
LaRonda?
Good afternoon. Question. Have the AAs been made aware of this?
LaRonda, tell us more about that.
I just needed to know if this is going to be a surprise for my admin assistant when I meet with her to talk about this. I didn't know if they had heard anything about this, being able to hire the IAs.
So I know the initial notification went out from Leona to principals. It is my understanding that Tanya Charles was sending something out to AAs. Tanya, might you confirm if that notification also went out to the AAs?
Clearly there's a little bit of confusion because I know I did not send out anything separate to the to the AAs. The last that I knew whenever we talked about this in-house was that this was going to be sent out, doubling back on the notification. So we'll need to clear this up. I have not sent anything directly to the AAs.
So LaRonda, to answer your question, if you didn't share with them directly, we will. And I'll send something out today. One of the things we've been monitoring and mindful of is how much we email you all, given so much information. So there have been a few times I've paused, and that's me, Leona, taking ownership of sending mass emails to you all because of how I see everybody's mental well-being in a variety of sessions. So the team has an email ready to go. Some of your AAs may know because they've popped into other office hours like CARES office hours or AA meetings or calling their iPods, but we did not email all AAs. So we will do that today.
Thank you. And it's no worry. I just snagged a screenshot, and so I'll forward it to her so I can get on this ASAP. Thank you.
In the interest of time, I didn't want to read every single bullet that's on the note page. So if you want to take your time and just read through the directions on how to hire the AAs and work with your, hire the instructional assistants. And then if you have any questions, let us know. I know there's been a lot of questions around the hiring process. So we thought if we just made this kind of cheat sheet or document, it would make it easier for you all to go step by step. Once you've found instructional assistants.
The only other thing that I'm going to interject, if we jump down, and there's a numbering issue on our spreadsheet, ladies, that we need to fix. But CARES Act funds, we just want to make sure that you're aware that I am holding weekly CARES Act office hours on Thursdays from 10 to 11. We have linked to, I am maintaining a rolling office hours Q&A form. Those meetings are recorded, and we're also uploading the recordings to those links to the recordings. So we just wanted to make sure that you had access to the CARES Act office hour notes as well. The feedback on the Q&A document has been phenomenal, not only from the AAs, but from the entire CARES Act grants team and region. I have noticed a couple of executive principals popping in, reviewing the Q&A as well.
Thank you for that, Yvonne. And for any of our principals and our AAs on here, basically, right, you now have 4 pots of money that you're in charge of, and they each have different sets of rules. And that's something, just so you all know, I met with your region teams for them to understand that tremendous weight on you. You have your operating funds that sit in your focus accounts. You have your local school funds that sit in a different account. And then you had your Title I funds that were in focus but in a different pot than you're operating, and that some of which we were holding. And now you have CARES funds that, although might be sitting in your operating, also is sort of like its own pot. So it's almost like you've got this wallet with all these different compartments. And so we recognize that could be a lot to manage. So, and some of these have different rules around them. So take advantage of either office hours or talking to your different people around either brainstorming or can I do this with that? Because we know that other schools don't have these other layers that you do. So there's definitely more going on. So I want to thank you for that, Yvonne, for the other office hours, and know that we recognize you're juggling 4 pots of money. And some of you, up until recently, were juggling a 5th because you still had your last year's Title I money in play, and you recently finished that out. Hopefully. If so, I recognize that's a lot of different pots of money to juggle and remember. And so principals and AAs, you guys have to talk frequently. And when you sit down, my advice used to be, let's talk about which pot of money we're connecting to today, and make sure you're really clear about what's coming from where, and getting into the habit of checking in on all of those pots. We had some questions in the chat box. I didn't know if we wanted to bring them into the room. I'm just seeing the chat box go. I think it's about BAs. Tanya, can you speak to that?
Yes, Tasha King is asking whether or not the deadline of April 30th is still good for the final budget adjustment, and I've notified her that we're doing no extensions at this time. If we decide to, all schools will be notified of a time change.
Thank you, Tanya. And oftentimes, Tasha, it's because we have other deadlines. So this year, there were some that last year's money was given an extension by VDOE. That's why we gave an extension. So we haven't heard of such an extension yet. And so as a reminder, we have our deadlines to encumber the money to VDOE as well. So that's why. I said it's important that you guys are having these money talks with your together, principals and AA. Where am I in my 5 pots of money? Where do I need to put some time and get some things together? So, but if something changes and VDOE gives us an extension, we would absolutely come back and share. LaRonda?
Hello again. Another question, and this may be too early in the conversation. Do we have any idea about Title I budgets for next school year? I know a lot of principals have staffing tied into their budgets, and a staffing season is coming up, and I just need to get my mind right. Get your mind right, LaRonda. Here's what I will say to you all. On the positive, with the new administration coming in, I think there's some general positive things I'm hearing out there. Now, we also know that our numbers tend to be tied to per pupil and things like that. Our team monitors that data monthly, and we have made commitments not to make any decisions on budgets until we have a little bit more consistent data. So in the past, just to give you guys context, sometimes we were looking at January, sometimes it was February. We're trying to really hold on as long as we can to look at your numbers to do budgets. And our goal is to try our very best to maintain what you have. I can't guarantee that. But on the other positive side, like I said, the new administration seems to be really favoring this idea of ensuring Title I allocations
may even get more than that they normally get because of the need we know the pandemic has surfaced. So the other thing that you all need to know is that in FCPS, we kind of do our timeline of giving you your budgets is sort of our own self-imposed. We do it to try to line up with HR. We know you're making HR decisions around the same time. This year, it may not be as perfect because we want to match HR, but we also don't want to give you preliminary numbers when we can hold off a little bit and give you more. So it may not be as perfect this time, but I don't see any reason right now for everyone to be very worried about their staffing from Title I right now. I actually think we're going to end up in a pretty good place, but I can't guarantee until there really is a transition within, when there's already been a transition at the federal level, but we haven't seen things trickle down. Then it has to go to the state and then they say things to us. So those things should be coming soon, but it looks like good on the Title I front. Now, I know that that's a worry, some of you, because you hear our school board, right, and our superintendent talk about operating funds having deficits. That is true. But remember, this is federal money, and this transitional change in power is supportive of needs-based federal grants type of thing. So that's a good thing for us. So keep that in mind, as well as little things like Yvonne has taught me. Thank you, Yvonne. She's my compliance for a person who likes to read all those fun journal things that I don't like to sometimes read from U.S. Department of Ed. But this new administration is trying to push back on who counted in the census. All of who counts in the future in the census. All of that is good for us, guys. So those are things that you may not have cognitive space to worry about because you're doing day-to-day stuff, but know that your Title I team pays attention to those things.
Yeah, and Leona, I'm just going to throw in there that we, when you talk about FRM data, we're also waiting for guidance from the Virginia Department of Education because nationwide, we know that the pandemic has resulted in FRM reductions nationwide. And so the Virginia Department, the United States Department of Ed has recently provided state departments some flexibility and direction that states could actually utilize to ensure that there are not huge changes to ranking and serving Title I schools. As of today, VDOE has not made a determination as to the direction they are going to go with what data we should utilize. So Leona is actually waiting on that information as well from VDOE. So LaRhonda, great question. Thank you for asking it, and just know that there are a lot of nuances as a result of COVID.
Thank you, Yvonne. I see a question from Ellen. This is a very technical one. So they put in an HR8 doing it more as an ADA monitor, but she instead maybe wants to use her Title I things. I think you would have to just do a new HR8 and move them over to the Title I pod is my thought. But Yvonne, can you look at that one?
Yeah, because the ADA monitor is actually already processed, it's really simple. All you would do in that case is have your AA provide the ADA monitor and HR 11 with the Title I. Actually, no, you would provide your school operating fund code, Ellen, and then the individual would charge to your operating funds, and then you would do a journal entry and provide the Title I office all the supporting documentations. So that process is relatively simple.
So can I clarify, can I paraphrase that, Yvonne, and make sure I get it? You could actually, hey guys, just so you know, you could actually have a person that's being paid sometimes as an ADA monitor and sometimes as an IA, depending on the hours. The difference is you got to fill out the right paperwork associated. So for example, pre-COVID, I had an employee that worked 3 hours a day as my cafeteria hostess. And then in the afternoon, I would have her work hourly as an IA. So she had to submit different HR 11s to make that happen. But it was up to me and my AA. My fabulous former AA is on here. Hey, Monique. It was up to my AA and I to keep track of that, to remember, okay, are these her hours as an IA or are these her hours as a hostess? So you get that kind of flexibility. Just make sure you have a system to remember which pot of money am I charging this to. Make sense? While we're waiting, Courtney, did you just want to provide an update that about school supplies? Are they all out? Anything people need to know about that, and any other updates around that?
Sure. So basically, everybody will, all 42 of the Title I schools should have received all of their school supplies by tomorrow afternoon at the latest. And then I'm not sure if this was relayed, but the whiteboards are going to be coming in February, mid-February, because they were on back order. So you get your kits by Friday, and the whiteboards will be delivered by mid-February. Other than that, we hope you enjoyed the bags and the extra supplies. I know some schools were sending us really adorable pictures of the kids with their school supplies and how happy they were to receive them. So feel free to send those our way. We really enjoy seeing it.
Yes, thank you. I agree. And we actually often share those pictures with leadership team so they understand the impact of the work we're doing as well. And there is a possibility we're working on a plan that you may also get another round of supplies, but this time it will be math manipulatives. But that's still in the early planning phases. But since you came today, that's your secret nugget you get for coming today, that you may get some math manipulative kits. We're still in the planning phase of that.
Can I clarify really quick one thing, Leona? Because I saw, Tasha, you did say about the whiteboard, and I apologize. I have second grade learning behind me right now. But some schools got the whiteboards because she had some already in stock. So once she ran out, she had already done an order, and they're on back order. So that's why some schools received them until she ran out, and then yes. So then she'll get the other ones by mid-February. Thank you.
Just, I know we're doing a lot of operational updates, but on the instructional side, please know that your Title I resource teachers are also hard at work. I know many of you are accessing them and having them plan with you and work with you, but a lot of the changes that occurred to the resources and the pacing guide and helping figure out the essential work, our Title I resource teachers were instrumental in that. And then I believe next week is literacy leaders as well, and they are really focusing on the work of Dr. Goldie Muhammad, who is really instrumental in culturally responsive teaching around literacy. And so definitely check in with your literacy leaders around that. Fantastic work to consider. She writes a wonderful book called Cultivating Genius that many of you may have heard of or read. But the instructional side is also doing great work. Our math team continues to collaborate. There are office hours they're hosting for math resource teachers and literacy resource teachers that the OSS resource teachers and our resource teachers host together. So if you have, a resource teacher, or as you gear up for planning to coming back and you're thinking about your interventions right now, I know that's a hot topic for principals, like, who do I bring in? What do I do with them? There is an intervention principal support group, but in addition to that, if you have instructional staff that wants to connect with somebody, connect them to your resource teachers. That's what they're there for. They are very knowledgeable in instructional practices and content.
We just want to share that this is an opportunity just to share what's on your mind, and it's a very informal gathering for us to just have a conversation about things that you're thinking about, things that surfaced, and always know that you can reach out to us if there are any other ideas or thoughts you have after we've left this meeting. But we do have time. If you have any other questions, ideas, suggestions, or concerns, we are available to listen and hear what you have to say.
Hey, Kathy, your monitor count for ADA came from HR, most likely went directly to the principal. So I will double check with them. And if you're not sure, you might want to reach out to your staffing specialist for your school and see if they can give you an updated count.
Thank you, everyone.
Welcome, Rachel. Who is Rachel's Title I buddies? Can anyone tell her Dogwood's different folks?
Hi, Rachel. I'm Gina Toller. I am your IPOC for Dogwood. I'll be sending you an email shortly.
Wonderful. Thank you. Nice to see everybody.
Well, I will say that this was a great first meeting.
The turnout, I was not expecting that.
So that's awesome.
Yeah. You have it was really nice to see everyone join. And it was just like short and quick, like immediate responsive questions, you know?
Right, and I think providing them the link to the Title I office hours, they'll be able to continue to refer back to that so that if they aren't able to attend in the future, it's another resource for them.
Yeah, I kind of want to make sure.
Are we still recording?
We're not.
Yeah, we are still recording.